Hey, welcome back. So I don't know about you, but I love a good marquee number or letter. It's such a big, beautiful visual impact, and there's no setup. Well, there's a lot of setup, but there's no inflating or anything like that. It's just like you can reuse them, but they are expensive. So in this video, I'm going to show you the process that I use to make my marquee foam letters so that if you don't have wood or metal and you're in a pinch and somebody really wants it for their setup, you can make your own for a very affordable price and also still get a good return on your investment. You can still charge for them. So if that sounds good to you, stick around. By the way, if you haven't already, go find me on Facebook in my group, the Balloon Hub Hot Deals and Cool Designs. It's a free group for you where you get access to all of the deals that I find on all of the balloon equipment that I can think of that would be on sale, as well as alerts when I post new videos here, tutorials, and good general community where we help each other out, support each other. It feels good. Go find me over there. Let's get into it. All right, so the first thing that we're going to do is head over to dafont.com, and that is where I'm going to find the font that I want my letters to be in. I'm going to search for collegiate because that generally gives me a lot of options about what I'm looking for. And then under here in preview, you can put the word that you're going to be spelling so you can see how that actual word is going to look in the font. So I picked this second one here. Now that it's on my computer, I can go ahead and open Cricut Design Space. I'm not actually going to use my Cricut. I'm just going to use the program because it has a nice little grid setup. So first I'm using this gray square. I actually didn't need to do that, so don't even worry about it. But I'm typing my letters and starting with the B, and then the font that I downloaded is going to be there in my fonts. And then I'm going to make it as big as I want it to be, with each of these little squares being an inch. So now that I have it exactly lined up on those little squares, I have a screenshot of it, and that is what I'm going to use to cut out my letters and know exactly how long to make each line so that I'm not guessing or trying to freehand it, because that wouldn't go well. And then I can just go ahead and copy paste and change the letters as I need to. All right, so the next step is I'm taking some old wrapping paper here, you know, the kind that has grid lines on it to help you cut straight. That's what I'm using there. Now you can't see the grid lines, but that's what I'm using. And I'm going through and marking them out so that I have on that Cricut Design Space, did you see how some of the boxes were like bigger boxes and some were smaller? I'm mapping out those boxes so that it's just really easy for me to count them. And then I count the boxes on the picture on my laptop screen, and then count how many boxes that is, and I draw the lines and then cut it out. I hope that made sense. Let me know if it doesn't. So next I've got some foam boards here from the 5-quarter store, and I've got 2 of them taped together. Oh, I got a little helper here. I've got 2 of those taped together, and then I made sure that my letter was the exact height of 2 of those boards shaped together. That just makes it easy on me because then I'm not having to make cuts on the top and the bottom. So these foam boards, I believe, are 24 inches wide. So I made my letters 48 inches tall so that I didn't have to worry about sizing down on the height. Again, I hope that made sense. So now I'm using my box cutter to cut this out. Now let me tell you something about using foam in case you're freaking out about me using the box cutter on my kitchen table. So when you are cutting out foam board, see there where my things are taped together so you can see there's 2 foam boards there. Anyway, when you are using your box cutter or your X-Acto knife or whatever, don't try to cut through the entire piece of foam in one pass. Every time I do that, I end up with jagged edges because I'm having to put so much pressure down to get through the whole board that I'm not able to hold my hand steady. So I highly recommend going through at least 2 passes, with the first one being, oh, looks like I hit my head there. With the first one being just to kind of get through the first part of the board. Hey, there's my husband. The first part of the board and make the lines. And then the second pass is the one where you're really actually putting some pressure and getting all the way through the thickness. And there you can see when I go through that second pass, I'm using that self-healing cutting mat there, which I'll link below. So now what I'm doing is picking out where my holes are going to go for the lights. And I'm doing that by first measuring exactly halfway across each stick, like the bottom part of the stick or the Y, and then the 2 arms. I'm finding the center of each of those and drawing a line through the center so that then I can mark where I want my holes to go. So I believe that I made these holes about 8 inches apart. So once I've got that line where my level is lined up right here, I'm making little marks 8 inches apart. And then I'm going to go back through and cut those out with my knife. All right, so now I'm marking my little holes, and these do not have to be perfect or exact, because when you poke the lights through, they are like, you're going to round them out with the lights. Okay, now that I have my holes mapped out, I am going through with the knife and just cutting out. These squares that I'm cutting out are probably like, I don't know, maybe a 1/2 inch wide and a 1/2 inch tall. Again, they are not perfect or pretty when you look up close to them, because it doesn't really matter. The light is going to hide the edges. And then I'm going to go ahead and use my glue gun, my hot glue gun. I absolutely love my Ryobi here. You can see it in the middle. Hey, there's my second helper. She's going to do some crafting with me. You can see my Ryobi here in the middle of the screen. I love this because it is cordless, which is just absolutely amazing, especially when you're working with like a big project like this and walking around a table and all that. Like the cord just gets in the way. But anyway, so I'm using the glue gun on the back side of this, and only the back side, and just holding it here for a few seconds while it dries, and then I will continue adding pieces. Here you can see how I'm making those edges. So I'm marking out across the foam board every 4 inches is how wide I made these ones. I've made them 6 inches before, and that is okay, but they do get pretty chunky with 6 inches. But that, once again, I'm just kind of, and I also find, guys, that I make a much straighter and better cut when I freehand it with a pencil line rather than trying to like cut against my level there. That always, it just doesn't end up good. So all right, now I've got enough. I can go ahead and finish the borders of my Y, just sort of like going along, marking exactly how long they need to be, or like lining them up to see how long they need to be, and then marking that, and then cutting them and gluing them. For the rest of this, I'm sorry, I ended up getting like kind of off camera by putting it on the stool here, so bear with me. You can also hot glue the front seams. You just need to be careful that you do it really nicely, as if you're caulking. And there you go. Here is the finished product, and here is what it looks like with all the letters all lit up. Thanks for watching.